Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Shrunvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastho Bhadrani Vidunoti Suritsatam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 4, verses 30 and 31. Verse 30. Soyam durmarsha radayo brahmadrukcha loke pakirtim mahatim avapsyati yadangajam swam purushatvid udyatam na pratyasetam rataye paradhata. Synonyms: Sir, hey, I am that. Durmarsha Hridaya, hard-hearted. Brahmadruk, unworthy to be a Brahmana. Cha, and. Loke, in the world. Apakirtim, ill fame. Mahatim, extensive. Avapsyati, will gain. Yat Angajam, the daughter of whom. Swam, own. Purusha Dvit, the enemy of Lord Shiva. Udyatam, who was preparing. Na Pratyasedhat, did not prevent. Mrataye, for that. Aparadhata, because of his offenses. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: Daksha, who is so hard-hearted that he is unworthy to be a Brahmana, will gain extensive ill fame because of his offenses to his daughter, because of not having prevented her death, and because of his great envy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport: Daksha is described here as most hard-hearted and therefore unqualified to be a Brahmana. Brahmadruk is described by some commentators to mean Brahmabandhu or friend of the Brahmanas. A person who is born in a Brahmana family but has no Brahminical qualifications is called a Brahmabandhu. Brahmanas are generally very soft-hearted and forbearing because they have the power to control the senses and the mind. Daksha, however, was not forbearing for the simple reason that his son-in-law, Lord Shiva, did not stand up to show him the formality of respect. He became so angry and hard-hearted that he tolerated even the death of his dearest daughter. Sati tried her best to mitigate the misunderstanding between the son-in-law and the father-in-law by coming to her father's house, even without an invitation. And at that time, Daksha should have received her, forgetting all past misunderstandings. But he was so hard-hearted that he was unworthy to be called an Aryan or Brahmana. Thus, his ill fame still continues. Daksha means expert, and he was given this name because of his ability to beget many hundreds and thousands of children. Persons who are too sexually inclined and materialistic become so hard-hearted because of a slight loss of prestige that they can tolerate even the death of their children. Verse 31. वदति एवं जने सत्या दृष्टवासु त्यागम् अद्भुतम् दक्षं तत्पार्षदा हन्तुम् उदति स्थान उदयुक्तः. Synonyms: Vadati, were talking, evam, thus, jane, while the people, satya, of sati, drashtva, after seeing, asutyagam, the death, adbhutam, wonderful. Daksham, Daksha, Tat Parshad, the attendants of Lord Shiva. Hantum, to kill. Udatishan, stood up. Udayuddha, with uplifted weapons. Translation: while people were talking among themselves about the wonderful voluntary death of Sati, the attendants who had come with her readied themselves to kill Daksha with their weapons. Purport: the attendants who came with Sati were meant to protect her from calamities, but since they were unable to protect their master's wife, they decided to die for her, and before dying, they wanted to kill Daksha. It is the duty of attendants to give protection to their master, and in case of failure, it is their duty to die. नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णाप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I humbly bow down and seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself, and please forgive me for any shortcomings. I have taken notes from lectures by senior devotees. So, very important lessons are coming out in this chapter with respect to behavior of a Vaishnava or a devotee. Here, Daksha is said to be hard-hearted and unworthy to be a Brahmana because of three reasons: his offenses to his daughter, not having prevented her death, and his great envy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What was the result of these offenses? He lost his fame, and on top of it, he gained ill fame. Just see the provocation that happened here. Daksha stuck to his point adamantly, with no advisers, because all the people surrounding him were afraid of him. They did not speak the truth, even though they felt discomfort. That stubbornness remained in him even after his daughter came to him to patch up. And when one gets into this kind of pride, then it is described here that the person becomes hard-hearted. He was so uncaring that he kept seeing his dearest daughter take her life away. He didn't want to give up his false ego. One of the ways the false ego is manifest is when the individual starts thinking, I am right, my judgment is right, and all others are wrong. One closes his mind to see different viewpoints, and if anyone gives a different opinion, then he immediately gets defensive and uses all his powers to prove his point and gain support. This is due to tamoguna. A devotee should never get into this kind of situation. Now, does that mean we cannot be confident about what we think is right? No, we can be confident, but not be arrogant. In confidence, we can explain our reasons to anybody. The reasons and intelligence will prevail, but not the ego. So, living in the community of Vaishnavas, this kind of situation, identical to Daksha and Lord Shiva, might happen. Sometimes devotees have difference of opinion. In such case, the strength of reasons can be used without getting angry. Anger comes when there is no intelligence. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 2.63, from anger, delusion arises, and then bewilderment of memory. which leads to loss of intelligence, and that results into fall down. Daksha is expecting respect from everybody, but he doesn't want to give respect to his own daughter. Anger, pride, arrogance, these qualities are not for a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is always humble and has humility to give respect. Mistakes can happen. An egoistic mind justifies the mistakes instead of rectifying the mistakes. If we focus on rectifying the mistakes instead of justifying them, we can effectively progress in our life. Krishna consciousness is such a wonderful process where everything is mentioned in scriptures. These stories in Srimad Bhagavatam are here for us to learn so that we can know the result of different types of behaviors, how to deal with different types of situations, and how to act in Krishna consciousness. Here, Lord Shiva, being a great Vaishnava, is not bothered by any circumstances. We can learn how Lord Shiva behaves as a great devotee in different situations. When Daksha in his pride insulted Lord Shiva the first time, or when Daksha did not invite Lord Shiva to the yajna, or when Mother Sati left for her father's place even after Lord Shiva had advised her to not go. He was not impelled by any of the situation. He remained observed and meditating on the Supreme Lord. When we are associating with devotees, we learn. So when there is a problematic situation, we come together in association of devotees. Devotee means one who knows how to apply everything correctly in the right time. If we want to please Krishna or Guru or a Vaishnava, then we must follow a system. Vaishnava must follow the etiquette and highest culture of devotional service. That is guided in the scriptures. And that process is how we apply, how we connect to make an ordinary situation or a tensed situation into a Krishna conscious situation. I'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha